All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Networking with Nick. Today, I have Maddie Turstrip. I'm leaving it in because I've asked her 10 different times, honestly, and I'm bad at that. One of the things I've struggled with throughout my career is pronunciation of names.
Mine's really hard, though.
Yeah, you got a difficult one. Where's it come from? Do you know where your last name comes from?
I think we're like German, Swedish, Danish. I don't even know.
You got a whole mixture of you?
I'm a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything?
Yeah.
All right, so are you a Wichita local then?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're born and raised here.
Well, I was born in Lawrence, but
okay,
yeah, raised
so
here.
Kansas in general, just Have you ever had ambitions to leave? Because I'm a Seattle native. I transplanted here from the West Coast when I was 21, and it's something that a lot of people should do. I truly think a lot of people should move when they're 21 for a year or two, anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean the summers I work down in Arizona, like that's my favorite place to be, but the guy I'm dating now is here, and like he can never leave, so I'm in that like, I don't know.
You're kind of stuck in the spot right now. How long you guys been together then?
Only 8 months.
All right, so that's kind of new.
Yeah.
All right, just filling things out. All right, that's fair. All right, so if you could pick a place, where would you go live? Would it be Arizona, or have you been anywhere else?
This is crazy. I say Arizona, but like, since I was probably 6 or 7, I always told my parents I want to be in Australia for no reason. Like, I know nothing about it, but it's just like, it sounds right.
Right. It sounds like a lot of things down there can kill you, though. You know that, right?
I like dangerous.
That's fair. All right, just like dangerous. So okay.
Exciting.
Have you haven't been there yet though?
No.
Do you have plans to go?
Oh yeah.
When? When are you gonna make that happen, huh?
I think when I'm 26. I don't know why, but I feel like that's the year when everything's just gonna like take off.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. All right, so you're in the construction space.
Yeah.
You also have a media company.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a full-time job and a full-time job.
And I do small business consulting for subcontractors.
Where do you find all the time in the day to do this, Maddie?
I stay up late and I get up early.
That's it. That simple.
And my calendar, if you saw it, people call it like Legos at work because it's all these different colors and I block everything out.
So are you very naturally good at being able to organize like that? Because I suck at that. Because like if you look at my calendar, everything is blocked out, but it's to the most simplest of steps possible.
I should show you. I'll show you later.
Okay.
But it's just like if I don't do that, like if I don't have every space filled, I feel like I'm missing something.
Interesting.
Which isn't a good habit, but like that's what's gotten me further faster.
Yeah.
While still doing the right thing, instead of committing to all these things and then I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get it done.
Okay.
You
So you're 25?
24.
24? You're doing all three of these right now at the age of 24. Okay, so when did you start kind of branching off from regular 9-to-5 jobs to like, I want to start looking at like doing my own thing?
I think it was a year and 2 or 3 months ago.
So this is all recent.
Yeah.
You're earlier in the journey than I am.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me how it started.
It's kind of, I found this guy on Instagram, Eli Jones.
Not familiar.
Norman and Young. He does real estate photography. And I was like, I love houses, construction, that kind of stuff, I was like, I want to learn cameras. Well, I started doing it and I was like, you could drive 30 minutes to a shoot, 10 minutes, whatever, and then you got to edit all of it. Like, is it really worth the money? So then I was like, okay, I work in construction, and the last company I worked for, I was helping them, like, do their transition from Manhattan to Wichita. Like, they were combining when I was up at K-State.
Okay.
So I was coming down every Friday, working on all these different forms and stuff with them, and then...
So you're traveling from K-State all the way, and that's like a 2.5-hour drive? Because I'm not a local from Seattle. Yeah. I think I've only been up there once or twice. So how long is that drive?
It was like maybe 2 hours, but at that time I had a boyfriend here. Of course, I had a boyfriend again. I had a boyfriend here.
So Maddie.
I was coming to see him every Friday, and it just happened to work out, Like, I got done with class at 10, come down here, work the afternoons with that office. And then I graduated, came down here, lived with him for a little bit, didn't work out.
Fair.
And then I was like, I want a complete change. Went to a new company, and that's kind of...
Really?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're doing all this. When did the media company really kind of start kicking off and becoming another focus on top of the new company?
Oh, I got off topic. Okay.
Okay.
So I was doing that for him, actually.
Okay.
He was super into photography, and I was like, where's the money at, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought it was real estate, but it's not. It's not residential. It's more commercial projects and like drone and that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think he was as into it as I was.
That's
So
fair.
I got all this equipment, you know, and I'm like, I got to put it to use. So then I started doing drone, and I'm like, okay, I have all these one-off services. How can I make this a monthly thing for someone?
Okay.
So then I put together like social media packages and somehow started building websites for people. So I'm like, okay, if you need, most construction companies, smaller ones, don't have a website, which means they definitely don't have social media. So I was like, I'll find a guy who needs a website. And then we set business and marketing goals for the year, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, well, who's taking care of that? No one. Because he's so busy working out in the field and getting
Working
work.
on the business.
Yeah, he's working in it. He can't even work on it.
Oof.
So I was like, okay, we got you a good website. How do we push it out? How are we going to hit your project goal or your revenue that you want to hit every quarter, you know?
Yeah.
And then track it. So that's kind of how this all just tumbled together the past year.
It's kind of just falling in your lap a little bit, taking, action on certain things.
I just get bored, like, with the day job.
Interesting. Elaborate a little bit on me.
As a GC, we get all these bids and stuff from the subcontractors. You know, you'll have like 20 to 40 different scopes of work between like concrete, electrician,
right,
plumbing, all this, you know? And if they could understand how our structure worked and work with that, there might not even hardly be a need for a project manager to run all of them. Right.
So I have a very interesting question. Yeah, and this kind of comes up from yesterday's episode. It was the first trades day. Shout out to my man Joe Frey. I've worked in the trades and with trade people, some general contractors. I'm field safety certified, OSHA certified, 40-hour.
You?
Me.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have rope rescue 1 and 2. I used to work for Eagle Environmental. Shout out to Eagle Environmental. It was the worst job. the worst job. It is. You do all this horrible stuff, but you learn a lot.
Right.
It was a big teacher to me, it's owned and operated by like retired and current firefighters who are upper brass and who they just kind of ran it like a fire station and they kind of held you accountable. And I was a dumbass kid, when I first started there. And it was the worst work, but you do learn a lot. You learn a lot. Hard work does do a lot for you, and I was always good job after job after job. Like you said earlier, you would kind of get bored with your day job.
Yeah.
Was it because you got good at it? Like you'd always be a jack of all trades, kind of like this was easy for me. I learned it. Now it's boring.
I don't want to say that because I do look up to everyone that's been there longer and taught me stuff. I appreciate them a lot. But it's like there's just a piece missing, especially in construction. It's like I feel like we're 20 years behind. You hear that all the time, but it's almost like we're 30, 40. Like, we're not. The internet, everything's moving so fast. And we haven't even dipped into, they're hardly,
Yeah. How hard is it? Okay, so here's what my question was going to be. I've worked around all these people. Mm-hmm. You're a pretty girl. Working around contractors, you are going to hear some of the most outlandish stuff.
I've been through some weird,
experiences, right?
Bad, yeah.
How have you handled that? Because I'm genuinely curious.
I don't want to say this the wrong way, but a lot of women are like, I'm a woman in construction. It's Women in Construction Week, this week.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So everyone's freaking out, I'm a woman, feel bad for me, all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't get that way. I'm like, I picked this. I know how men think. I'm around them every day, you know?
Right.
If you can get in front of that and nip it, you know?
They'll respect you a lot more.
Yeah.
If you can dish it out before they dish it out to you, or, you know, if you're able to quickly come back and, like, put them in their spot and make everyone go, ooh, like you'll get.
I'm not here to fuck around.
Yeah.
So, like, we'll be in a meeting having problem.
Right.
I'll be the girl on the laptop making, like, the Excel sheet or the new plan for the project. And I'm like, why don't you just do this?
Yeah.
And then I think that goes a long way.
Interesting. Very interesting. Do you have advice to women who want to get into the trades? Because I'm like, I feel like it's a very small number of individuals, but there are some on TikTok that I've come across. There's a few like women electricians who like they're crushing it. They're doing great.
Yeah.
Like so.
If anything, I think it's more beneficial to be a woman if you know how to use. This sounds really bad.
No. Let's be honest here.
If you know how to use, because guys don't see girls all day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They get so happy you come out on site, you show up to their meeting, whatever. Like, if you took that in a good way versus, you know.
It's leverage.
Yeah.
You're utilizing leverage.
Yeah.
And it's
then,
not
so
ill
since I
intent.
have my other company, it's like I can call up a sub and be like, I need this material, want to do a trade in services. Like, I'll do your marketing if you give me this.
Right.
Which turns into, I need a website, this. That's a $20,000 client on the side, you know, and they're doing a construction project for me. And I'm like, if I was a guy, they'd be like, what are you doing?
It's a struggle, man.
Yeah.
We have to build credibility. And we've had some very interesting conversations with friends about this. One of my first introductions to sales was Kirby Vacuums. Are you familiar with Kirby Vacuums? And it's a door-to-door based sales, right?
It's hard.
And it is very difficult. Well, what I ended up doing when I became a manager of my own van is I didn't send guys to door knock. They did an appointment set. Some very cute, innocent-looking girl. Every single time. 2 of them in pairs.
They don't even.
Nope.
And then the guy's like, what did I just
It's
sign
a barrel.
up for?
Barrel fish. Yeah. And so as we started doing that, and then we'd have 1 or 2 of them stay around too as well to like talk to the husband or wife and things like that, have them come back and check on the salesperson to make sure that they're doing a good job. So it's not like we did the old bait and switch, but we did utilize what works great. And unfortunately, sex sells.
It's
Being
true,
a very pretty girl, knocking on a door, selling a service, you have a much better in than the slickest talking smooth salesman on the planet.
So my only problem is like, I want to sell it, but also like, I don't like to say I'm a pretty girl. I know I'm not unattractive though. So like, the problem is they'll say yes, and they don't realize like I'm the one doing it too. Like I build the websites, I build your plan. Like I'm not dumb, you know?
Right.
So then when they hear that part, they're like, it's straight doubt for like 30, 60 days, you know?
And
so
then
it's
they
hard
come
to
around.
get over that hump, yeah.
Interesting. Do you feel like it's been easier to build relationships for you for like networking that way?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I just wish I realized sooner. Like once I graduated college, like a day job makes you think you're limited to this. Like this is your bubble. Like you can't, in a meeting, you can't do this or say this because there's a 40-year-old dude above you or 50-year-old dude. Like that's not my place.
Right.
But really, it doesn't matter, you know? Like I just realized that this year, it doesn't matter.
I would just said this. I'm a big gamer. I play video games. I have my entire life. I grew up in the 90s. I love RPGs, role-playing. The way that I look at all of this, business, life, all of it, I am the main character of this story. I make up the rules. I accept whatever quests from whatever NPCs I talk to. I get to choose. And it's just like playing a game. That's it. This is a video game to me.
Yeah, but I'm like, the more silent I am, like, it doesn't benefit me at all, you know? Like, I'm on some Textron project, so I went to a meeting yesterday, and the guy who, like, runs the stuff for Textron, he was the first one in there, and I'd set all the agendas out. and I wear like crazy outfits, like I got the hot pink pants and the long sleeve with the white boots, like white booties,
You know what you're doing.
That's just what I love. I feel good, He comes in there and he's like, "You're always dressed up in these crazy outfits, He's like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I'm new on the project,
Right.
I just kind of met him.
There.
And I was like, I told him how I went to school and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, so you graduated?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "What's your degree?" And I told him construction management,
Okay, we're going to get into that because I was going to ask you
Yeah.
where you came from in education-wise. Because
K-State,
you're
yeah.
okay. We'll get into that in a
And
minute.
he was just like shocked, and he's like, "Oh, so you do office stuff?" And I was like, "I used to build hollow metal doors for 2 years. Like, I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff,
No joke.
And I'm like, my day job is just like this little piece of me. I'm like, if he knew all the other things I did.
Right.
But I would rather them assume less than more,
Sometimes you kind of want them to have a little. I like having a little bit of mysteriousness to me.
I like the doubt at first and then
bit.
like flipping it.
Right, and it does feel good because you get them over a hump, and then like they are like, wow, like thank you.
She's
They
not a
become
dumb blonde girl.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You earn a little respect. You earn some gratitude, and that feels good.
Yeah.
I think that does feel good, and then you do a good job for somebody. You know what I mean?
And then you get those referrals, and it's
Oh,
just
so all right, referrals. You just mentioned that. Are you a big networker then?
yes and no.
Okay.
If I didn't have my day job, I would be running all around the place,
Right.
But I'll hand out my cards or whatever. And like a guy I've been doing stuff for, he does like some remodeling, like houses and roofs and all that stuff. And I didn't ask him nothing, but he's just been referring me to his business partner friends, and they're like, "Hey, I need social media for my granite company or for this or,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I haven't even put my business out there, like advertised it. So I was like, if I did that, like if I didn't have my day job, it could literally like 10, 15 times itself,
So why do you still have your day job?
I'm in the transition thing right now. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
So is it a decision right now? Is that what it is?
Because it's like I went to school for 4 years, paid a lot for this, But then if you
So it doesn't
compare
matter.
the two, right, and you're
Right.
like, I already know I can pull this much a month in my free time. Why do I need that?
You're starting to see.
Like it's maybe $1,000 a week after taxes,
Oh yeah, I've busted my ass
I want
for that.
And like the harder I work, it makes people mad. You still make the same amount. Like you're not getting any. I mean, I'm getting somewhere, but not as fast as you could on your own and help
'Cause
as
you're the
many people.
employee.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the employee.
No.
You can definitely tell. So it comes down to deciding. It's making that
Right.
decision. Are you afraid to make that decision? Because I was kind of forced into it in a dumb way.
Not afraid as much as I want to make sure I have everything lined out. Like some solid clients,
So planning.
contract based before I just say, I've got maybe 1 month I have all these one-off clients and I make 30,000. But then the next 3 months I'm only closing 8 or 9. Like
Right.
I need consistency. I know it's not always going to be consistent, but I want more.
Need to take that
Of
8-hour day
yeah.
and put it towards it almost.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Schooling. So what was your background is legit in construction management,
Yeah.
right? So what does that entail? What did it take for you to get it? And what the heck did you learn?
Honestly, I think school costs too much for what it is. I literally, I don't know if anyone knows this. I don't
Here,
think
hold on
my
one
mom.
second.
Is it still going?
I'm about to find out. It sure is.
Wow.
Yes. All right, cool. So
That's
we just
crazy.
learned something on this episode of Networking with Nick on this new capture style of camera. The computer went to sleep, and I didn't know if it was still recording, so I just had to double check. It is still, in fact, recording. Good job, camera. Look at you go. Fucking good job. Anyway, all right, so construction management, K-State, 4-year degree.
Yeah.
How much money? How much money did you spend on your education first? Let's start there.
Like
Come on, it's
like
okay.
60.
Yeah.
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 I probably second year in, I absolutely broke down. I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, you know?
Right.
Like, I was working 50 hours a week, going to school, started not going to class, calculus. I was like, I don't even like this anymore, you know?
Right.
Like, I had that entrepreneur mind, I think. Like, see all these people online building stuff, how easy it is. They dropped out of high school to do this. They're running their own business, you know? And I'm like, I'm all techie and stuff. Like, I'm not a book person.
I can figure
Like,
it
I
out.
would rather get on a computer and code some stuff or,
Right.
you know, build something out. And I quit going to class, got put on academic probation. Not even warning, probation.
Trouble.
And I didn't enroll for classes until the last minute the next semester.
Wow.
And I was like, I have to make this work because my dad went to school, you know? He's like, this is what you do. Like, there's no other option.
So did you feel like there was a lot of pressure to go to college then? Okay,
and
interesting.
like my dad's a civil engineer, and I was like, I gotta do what he's doing or something, you know? Like, he's putting that all in me.
There's a little bit of pressure there from the parents. Absolutely. Interesting.
Which, honestly, now that I look at it, he would be happy with whatever I did. So I finished. I got my GPA back up to I think a 3.6. Once I graduated, 3.6, 3.7. Like, I just went at it.
Wow.
Absolutely hated it, though. And by the time I graduated, I'm like, I didn't even need a degree for the job I was doing. Like, the contractor I was working for when I was, I think, a sophomore.
Yeah.
Through when I graduated. Like, this next place I just went to didn't ask to see my diploma, nothing.
Does it feel like it was wasted?
Yeah.
Damn. That feels bad, man.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm like, should I do my own thing yet? Like, I'm just now maybe not even 2 years out, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel like you have to repay it by trying? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is that what, like,
But
it feels
then,
like you have to at least give it a shot to build from all of that
at least
4
the
years,
4
or it was
years,
fucking for
equivalent
nothing, right?
4 years, yeah. But I'm like, if you could make that much on your own, why would you put yourself through that every day? Like, I sit in that office and I'm like, there's so much I want to build, so much I want to do, but
there's so much
the
I
people
could be
there
doing.
don't operate the same way.
Mm.
Like, I think work for them is more of like a break from their home because they have kids and stuff, you know? Like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm go, 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 and they're like, chill out, you know?
Fuck that. Keep going. I think you're going to have to come to a point here very soon. I don't think it's like long away that you're going to have to make that decision. We're all faced with it. I was forced into it being laid off.
I wish they would just fire me.
Someone just like, hey, fire me so I can do
like,
it.
I'm not meant for this, you know? And then I would be like, okay.
Tell someone to tell you that.
I did.
Did they tell you that?
No, he asked the guy that owns the company what he would think if I went part-time. I didn't ask him to ask him that.
Right.
He just told me.
What'd he say?
And usually when that happens, I feel like people get let go there. But he's like, yeah, we can work with it. The benefits would just go away. And I'm like, fire me.
Benefits. That is, so I took my plunge in 2020 in the heart of COVID. Like, I lost all benefits because we got laid off. And since I never went back to the actual 9 to 5, like, I haven't had traditional like coverage and shit like that for 3.5 years. I actually had to stop going to the gym. The gym became a risk. So you wouldn't realize it now, but in 2020, I weighed about 206 and had a much more muscle mass. Mm-hmm. Going through my window cleaning business and through the summer, I sweat a lot. So I lost a lot of weight through that and a lot of stress. Like, stress started
it makes you lose weight like crazy.
Yeah, and so that happened. We got through that. I learned a little bit. Still trying to go to the gym as much as I could, but it really started going downhill. Like, I was going there to escape the things that I knew I had to be doing. So I wasn't being productive at home, and I wasn't being productive in the gym. I was just going there to fuck off, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but it wasn't because you had all that going through your mind.
Mm-hmm. I had multiple people like this. I was going to Vasa at the time before it got transitioned forcefully into its newest membership. Anyway, so like I had people like, man, you losing a lot of weight in your face stuff. What are you doing? I was like, oh, just, diet, just making up shit. On the inside, it's me not eating for 3 days, not knowing where the next check's about to come from to pay for rent. That shit will make you lose weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like going through those phases and stuff, like, so I was forced almost into it and made the decision like, all right, fine, I'm not going back. This is it. Like, I'm making this choice, and it sucked. I went through, like, you go through it. It's tough. I mean, some of the darkest days, and then like, it's just, that's what hard feels like.
Well, because you were like, I went to school for this, got a good job, and that easily
I
they
didn't
can
even
just
quite get, so
drop you, right?
when I was doing, prior to my journey of entrepreneurship, and I say that very lightly for the sheer fact that it's a very diluted title, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I was a machinist for aircraft industries. I was running 3, 4, and 5 axis machines. I was starting to learn lathes, mill turns, shit like that. Like, I understood it. It made sense. It wasn't difficult. It's you take a piece of material and you're making something out of it. So remove material from one side, another, and it's just it's a weird way to create something by removing. And you got to think about it in that type of way. And so like I was going to school for parts design, learning CATIA, Inventor, these 3D space model creation, programming, CNC, learning a little bit of different.
Yeah.
Yep. And was doing this, and then like I've never been like the office guy. I've never really truly felt like I was like a white collar worker guy, because I talk a lot of shit. I say a lot of things that are inappropriate, and I would get fired quickly working in an office environment. That's why I've always worked like trades, field safety representative, hazmat, hull watch, fire watch, rescue watch for, like for up in Hutchinson for like the factories and stuff like that. So like I worked around like rough edged people, and I like that. So me and a buddy, right before kind of COVID was happening, he was like, hey man, I want to talk to, like, we're just bullshitting, just drinking. And he was like, I know that you're good at this, but is this like what you want to do for the next 35, 40 years? Like, you're going to be sitting in a fucking office.
And then you think about it.
Got drunk, had a couple more drinks, and, we're thinking about it. And just kind of luckily, COVID happened. And I think the silver lining out of COVID, I hope a lot of people start looking at it like this now, being like 4 years past, getting further away, is like it gave us the ability to stop for a moment, to look at our surroundings and go, shit, there's things that I don't like and there's things that I want.
That's exactly what I thought when it happened. I was like, instead of sitting at home, this is your time to like.
It was a reflection moment.
It's a reset, yeah.
And a lot of people didn't look at it that way. But that was the way I ended up looking at it. And just kind of, all right, well. And I've always been the guy that says, one day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. One day I'm going to have that. One day I'm going to do this. One day we're going to be here. It's always one day.
Start now. Yeah.
Change those 2 words. Switch those 2 words the fuck around.
Day one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Day one. And that was it. In 2020, and it's scary. You just got to do it.
I think that's kind of when my whole mindset flipped. That was like the whole, like, I want to drop out of school. What am I doing? Classes are remote. I'm still paying the same amount.
And you're teaching yourself. It's not like...
Right? Like, why am I paying you to give you my test that I maybe get a C on because I didn't focus?
Right? And so, like, when I was going to class, because I was going here at WATC before it got changed to Wichita Tech, and, like, it was kind of the same thing. Like, we bought these classes, but at the end of it, like, there was an instructor in the class. They just gave us these books to read out of and copy. Like, it wasn't like you were learning. You were just doing a step-by-step program through this book. And the instructor was just there to facilitate to some degree. It wasn't like they were actually really, truly teaching lessons.
No, which I get. You get, like, some courses you do get templates and useful things. It's all online now.
Why do I need to do that?
You can find someone who owns a business who's already way better than what the book would tell you, who could give you the experience they've had.
Every college student should just turn around and take their money and give it to YouTube.
But anything.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the college of YouTube is where I've learned all of, like, a lot of my knowledge. You don't need...
Well, and then you learn how that works if you really got deep into it. And you're like, okay, I'm really good at maybe funnels now. You're good at funnels. You start making videos on how to do funnels. You're making money off of views and people buying your course. And
yeah, it's a new way. It's a very new way to create business. And I think a lot of people still struggle with that because social media itself is extremely new.
Well, and if you do one thing wrong, it's like bad rep,
Sometimes that's if they see it, depending on like how much where your focus is and stuff
not
too.
one thing wrong. We put the wrong message out there. That's when it's like,
yeah, no, and it's because it's very new. A lot of people are afraid of it, just like the internet, just like email marketing back when that was a real big thing. I remember dial-up. Like, I remember dial-up and stuff like that, like how big email and .com was, and the people were like going crazy. This is the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just the next wave of it, and it's not going to go away.
It's easier now.
It's so easy.
You
I'm an
post a
idiot,
video
and I can
on
do this
TikTok,
easy.
Just because you're funny or weird or something's different, it blows up.
It's so much
exposure.
That's all
you need to get your business going. Like, you don't need ad spend or any of that.
Ad spend is just really good to add on top of organic content, right? So if you're doing strategic organic content on a regular basis, like I post anywhere from like 1 to 3 videos per day, which translates into anywhere from 5 to 15 posts. 1 video, 5 platforms, 5 posts times 3 equals 15, right? Mm-hmm. Simple math, easy. Mm-hmm. So doing that, like you're just putting yourself out there more in volume.
Right.
So if you're doing the organic portion, you find that week. So I had a video that did really well. Like it got abnormally more views than the rest. Like it was like average of 250, 300 views. And then this one got like 1,000, 1,200. Take that, put $10, $15 behind it, boost it.
Oh, so it gets more.
Yeah.
I see, yeah.
So like one of the big things.
Because it's already good.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just putting an ad together and popping it
You already
out.
know it popped off. Organically. So now
more,
all you're doing is you're not paying
the reach.
Yeah, you're just paying the platform. That's the name of the game. All these people are like worried about like growing fake followers and like getting exposure and paying for like boostment for like comments and stuff. Just fucking give the platform money. They'll do it for you legitimately. Mm-hmm. That's the secret.
Not gonna lie though, I did the fake follower thing on Instagram, and it did get me a few contracts. Like
it does. It builds credibility.
$100,000 contracts.
It builds credibility to some degree. Having 5,000 followers, we're going to use Instagram for this particular experiment. Having 5,000 versus 50, 80, 60, 100,000, that does truly give you a lot of credibility because that's, it's not like people truly are going to investigate your page. A lot of the times it's very quick overview to make sure you're just a real person. But
I feel like the thing is, if you do buy followers or whatever, if you figure out how to start making those good posts and make them do their thing, it'll start to go hand in hand.
It's a tricky atmosphere.
Yeah.
See, but that's why, like, we used to kind of play in that realm of boosting and stuff like that. And, like, yeah, it can work. It's a weird, murky, like, it's a gray area. It's not a true black and white. Right. So that's why if you switch to just truly pay the platform, you go look at your post, it has a little blue button that says
the boost button.
Just pay Meta. They'll do the job for you, I promise.
Yeah.
And that's that simple. So, awesome. Where are you going? What are your plans? You're 24, you want to move to Australia, you want to jump into the pool of entrepreneurship by yourself. You're juggling these 3 things.
Right.
Let's create some goals right now.
So I've been seeing how many contracts I can line up, like people that are at least 6 months to a year.
Right.
So I'm like, if I get a log of like making $20,000 a month on that, day job's gone. That's out. Then I keep doing my small business consulting on top of half my hours would be on that. The other half would be on the small business.
Correct.
Because it pays double what my day job pays per hour, And then you convert them into media stuff also. They're like 2 times client.
Yeah.
So I've got like 4 of those going right now. But that would be my happy.
That right there.
And all that can be done from my computer. So I could go anywhere,
Absolutely.
And no one knows this yet, but I'm working on a coaching and consulting course I can show you later for construction. So it's like I would target all the subcontractors and smaller contractors. I was kind of saying this earlier.
Yeah.
But so they can understand the ins and outs. Because a lot of the companies are like dad's run it forever, and he's 50, 60 now, and he wants his sons to take it over, and
Right.
they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know the first thing about the business side.
They've been just kind of in the, being
The builders,
the
yeah.
builders and just learning that side before, and probably, I bet they try to learn what dad wants to teach them, but at the same time.
It's so much at once, yeah. So a few of them I work with, I'll break it out, give them 1 or 2 projects and then all the templates they need.
Wow.
On how to schedule a project, like how to manage the trades and
because this is all stuff
manage
you've
the budget,
done.
yeah. But on a smaller scale is way easier than a $10 to $50 million project,
Right.
So there's a lot of pieces to it, but I was like, I need a couple guys who have, mostly usually guys, who have been in the industry 10, 20 years that can really give me the content for this course.
Right.
So if you sell a course, $2,500, you have the packages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tier 1 is just a course. 2 is the course with maybe
Community.
you do group coaching once a week for 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That adds $500 a month. And then the last package is the course, coaching, one-on-one, and then you customize a plan based on their company.
Yeah.
Which makes them a monthly. They're
Be a
not going to
current
drop
client.
you. Yeah.
You increase your LTV of that client, and that's very important. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So we need to get you to make the decision.
Right.
And that, I think, is about the only goal it seems like in the future right now.
So I just want to get everything built out. My funnel's made. Everything's just sitting there right now besides the course.
Right.
And I'm like, then you're not having to go to these contractors and offer it to them. They don't even know I'm a 24-year-old girl, right? They're like, oh, this looks cool. Like, I need to teach my guys this, whatever. They get the course. They go to tier 2, and they're like, maybe I do need some coaching. Then I show up, and they're like, what are you here for?
Are you here to take attendance?
Yeah, are you going to audit me?
That's so funny.
But it's the whole approach of, like, they don't even know.
Right.
So, and then once you get into that 2 and 3 tier, it's like, you got great business goals, all this, how are you going to push it out? That's where the marketing comes in.
Very smart. You're on the right path. At 24, I was not doing the same thing.
It's just even construction has so many gaps.
Seeing the gaps. So when did you start seeing them? When did you start looking for them? That's very important.
I think the first company I worked for, I was just like, I don't know. Communication obviously is a problem in everything. People don't pick up the phone anymore. It's a text, an email, I didn't see it kind of thing,
Right.
And that's why schedules get pushed all the time and material doesn't get ordered. And I'm like, nip it. I'm like, get a system down and use it,
Yeah.
If you really want to be here and you care about it,
You got a lot of work to do in front of you, I think.
Yeah.
You have a hell of a lot of work to do in front of you, but I think you're already very far along, and I think you're gonna crush it in the next year or two. I'm excited to watch your journey.
I hope so.
You're gonna do great. Awesome. As we come to a close to part 1, Maddie, because I'm gonna have you come back. There's no way we're gonna do a one and
There's
done.
a lot.
There's way more we can talk about. As we come to a close, I have one last question. It's a hypothetical. You ready? All right. You get up in the morning, Maddie. You're just getting ready for your day, bright and early, before the sun even rises. You go to leave the house for the day. You run into 18-year-old Maddie. You're able to lock eyes, communicate with one another. You can't tell her all the secrets. You can give that woman a piece of advice. What do you tell her?
Don't worry about anything.
Hey.
Go do it.
Just don't worry about it.
Go do it.
Go do it.
The worst they can say is no.
Worst that they can say is no. Hell yeah, Maddie. Good job. That was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, being on episode 13 here at the Colony. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you. Go ahead, get out there, meet people, shake hands, say hello. Another episode of Networking with Nick. Take it easy. That's it.
Yay.
That was it.